But
I'm just kidding.
But I feel like Disney, like back in the day, like classic Disney is very much like there is no like women power kind of thing, and like that fact that I have a daughter, you know, it's like I don't want her like fucking waiting for some dude to fucking save the day. I want her to fucking whoop their ass.
I'm impressed. You got all sorts of ideas up in this doc.
Yeah,
today.
Last time you had ideas, you had like 20. I wrote like 3. So, I mean, I guess that's a lot for me, but, you know, you're still winning.
It's a starting point. I'm proud of you.
Hey, got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So, I got into work this morning, like I don't go to the office anymore, but like, we get on our call with my team this morning, and like, you know, I'm normally always wearing like some crazy bright colored fucking hoodie or something with Kool-Aid on it or something, right? And my designer, she goes, "You look so basic today." I was like, Thank you. I didn't know how to take it. I was just like, she's like, "No, you just always wear such bright stuff." She's like, "You're just wearing a boring blue shirt." Like, I'm like,
did you tell her it's a Speedo?
Well, no, I didn't show her my titty, but I was just like, man, I guess I really have kind of created a brand of myself to just wear nonsense shirts all the time. And now if I just wear a regular shirt, I'm a basic bitch, I guess.
Yeah, getting lazy, bro.
So, I know. I'm sorry, Audrey. I'm sorry.
Well, hey, that's good though that she gave you the feedback. You've got a brand.
No.
Now it's like you got to go all in.
I appreciate it. I know. I got to go to Walmart and get some more sweatshirts.
Just get all the basic ass neon colors.
Literally. So my wife was at Walmart yesterday, and she was like, "Hey, do you need anything?" I was like, "Well, if you see any really ugly, crazy ass sweatshirts, get it for me." And she goes, okay. And then she didn't give me anything. So I'm like, I guess she doesn't understand what I meant by ugly ass, crazy sweatshirts. But
yeah, that's hit or miss there, because she could be like, "This is fucking stupid looking." You're like, "Yeah, actually, that is stupid looking, and I can't wear that."
And I love it.
No, that's what you're going for.
Oh, it's
what
like
you might end up
stupid.
getting is that like, it's like when people wear those like kitschy sort of like it's nerdy, bit like. Well, it's hard to explain. It's like when people wear like mom clothes. It's like emo people dressing in a way that's like looks bad, but it's like not so obvious that it's like it actually like you're like, man, you just look like shit. Not like you're like trying like.
It sounds so mean when like other people outside of this house like hear it, but like me and my wife both like we'll just tell our kids they look homeless. And so like she's like, "Hey, I'm ready to go." I was like, "No, you're not. You look homeless. You need to go brush your hair and do some stuff. Like, we're not going anywhere with you looking like that." And so now it's just like so I'm basic and my kids are homeless.
Yeah.
So that's I feel like what you were describing. It's more homeless than
could be
crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But
well, so
it's a crazy week.
Yeah. Follow up. You the owner of your machine gun came by and picked it up, huh?
Yes. Randomly last night at like 8:45 p.m. Like I'm sitting here, like I was just on the computer dealing with some shit from work. Kids are like almost asleep, and like my wife's like watching a movie, and like the doorbell rings, which like these days rare. It's like you don't get company.
Yeah, people don't just
show
by.
up and ring the.
Yeah,
door.
Anytime the doorbell rings over here, I'm like, what? Who is that?
No, well, and especially at night. Like, it's I
totally.
get it during the day. We'll get packages delivered and they'll ring the doorbell or whatever. But like at night, like I'm like, something's going down. What's happening?
Yeah.
So like, it's like, you almost like answer
You probably
the door,
already
like,
had the machine gun in your hand, right?
Yeah, I brought it up there. So it was like,
what do you need?
I was like, I answered the door and I was like, it was a very like, salesman. He was very like, "Hello, my name is," and I forget his name already, but it was the guy I'd looked up, right? From the place. So it was like after he said it, I was like, "Okay, yeah, I know who you are." Okay. And he's like, "Yeah, was there a package delivered here by mistake?" And then he was like very professional about it. Like he had paperwork. He was like, "I'm a licensed firearm repair specialist, blah blah blah. We do this, we do that.
I can only
Here's all
imagine.
my licenses. Here's all my stuff. And he's like, I know this is weird for us just showing up at your door. I'm so sorry. You know, he was like very apologetic and like, and I was like, no, I know who you are. I looked it up. I'll go get it for you right now because I don't want it in my house.
That's the way better version than what I have in my head of like this guy going, ding, hey, package show up for you or for me.
It gets better. No, it gets better.
Okay.
So I go get it, right? It's in the game room. I go back, I get it, and I bring it up there. And my wife just starts going, we were going to call you guys, but we didn't know if y'all are terrorists. and they were like, no, ma'am, we are licensed, whatever. Like, they start talking about it, and she's like, yeah, I know you're saying that, but we just want to make sure you're not a terrorist because this isn't like a normal gun.
Right.
And it's like, she had to say it like 5 times, like direct to their face.
Okay,
like,
babe.
I was like, I think they got it. I think they got it. Like we wanted to make sure they weren't terrorists. But like we had already talked, like a buddy of mine's a police officer. So we had already talked to them. He's like, they're going to report it stolen. From then, he's like, then like the police can come and pick it up from you, and they'll probably either deliver it to them or they'll hold it for they can come pick it up. And so he's like, until they report it stolen, he's like, you just hold it, just wait on it, like don't like take it anywhere, don't do anything. And I was like, okay, got it, you know. So, and that's what they were saying, like they were essentially going to the police station, but the guy who had sent it to them to get repaired, he was like, well, let me look at my tracking. And so he looks online at the tracking, and it basically told him that it was delivered here. Oh. And so he sent that to them because apparently it had been like, I didn't realize how much time has gone by. It's been like 3 weeks or something. And so this guy sent this $5,000 gun to them 3 weeks ago, and he's like, "Yo, what's up with my thing?"
Oh God,
you know. And they're like, "What thing? We never got a thing," you know. And so he's like, "What the fuck?" so yeah, the gun is gone, and honestly, it's like a stress reliever for me. Like I'm not a big gun person. Like,
well, that was a big gun.
Like, it was the most ridiculous thing to have ever, you know. But it would have made like a really cool like gamer, because like I play shooting games. Like it would have been like really cool to have like a prop in the gaming room. But you know, still.
Yeah, my prop just so happens to be a real machine gun.
A real one that's worth like $5,000. Yeah, that randomly showed up at my house one day. But yeah. So it's gone, but you know.
Well, congratulations.
It's going to a good place.
On surviving that. Sorry you didn't get to keep it.
I'm good.
Well, dude, with all these topics we've got here, what did you have any that you wanted to start with?
Well, okay. I think, have you seen what Dribble is doing for Ukraine?
I have not.
I found it very interesting. Okay, so go to Dribble. And let me see if it's even still there. Watch, it's not going to be there. You're going to be like, there's nothing here. Where was I at? Once I logged in, there was like a banner.
Oh, yeah, there's a banner, a tiny banner up at the top that I actually just
tiny banner at the top, right? And I did too, multiple times. And then when you go to it, it's like our commitment to supporting Ukraine. And so what it is, which I thought was like really cool, it's like, hey, we're a design community. It's not like we can like, you know, send ammo and do kinds of stuff to like help the war.
Right.
But what they are doing is like helping the people from that country that are creative.
Money. Yeah.
Like, yeah. So it's like they're promoting people that post their artwork on Dribble so that they potentially could get more jobs and they can like have more income coming in.
Yeah.
And then people that sell things on Marketplace, they're promoting those things. So it's almost like promote black business, promote Asian business, promote whatever. Like it's like the same approach. Yeah. And I just thought that was really cool. And like I was like, I don't really need to buy anything right now, but I kind of want to buy something. So I started like going through the catalog looking for some stuff last night, and I found a couple of things that I ended up buying.
Oh wait, a catalog on Dribble?
Yeah. So if you go to it,
okay, I see the new
Marketplace
page. Yeah. I see.
Yeah, which is Creative Market. So it takes you to all of the artists that are Ukrainian or in the Ukraine that are selling things on Creative Market.
Right. Okay. That's cool. Okay.
Sorry. Yes, of course. Please shut the door. My daughter had asked if she could take a shower.
Say you can always do that.
Yeah. It's not one of those things you don't need permission for. If you feel like you stink,
Are you in the shower right now? You get the hell out of there.
Who said you could do that? but anyway, like
yeah, this is
I don't
cool.
know. I thought it was so simple, but like actually helpful. Like, as dumb as that sounds, right? Like, it's like we're promoting, like, you know, like something simple. It's like, hey, I posted some artwork. But it's like if that was us, like, that's our job. Like, that's what we do. If, like, all of a sudden we're in war, it's not like all of a sudden we have a different job to make money. This is the thing that gets us any kind of income.
Yeah.
And, like, that probably got cut off a lot because you're not creating more. You're, like, in the middle of the hecticness, right?
Yeah.
And so anything that's just going to, like, help,
right.
I thought it was cool.
I completely agree. And that's kind of, we were talking about the other, you know, a couple of weeks back, with our ignorant conversation about even what was going on, but you know, the life doesn't stop for everybody. I think it's interesting, and it's on, you know, both sides. I know that all, you know, it's not necessarily the people's opinion of Russia that they should be doing this, either. And obviously the Ukrainians are, you know, being attacked and, but yeah, even though that's happening, like, it's like, okay, like I still have to, you know, things don't just shut down. And even if like there's forgiveness or whatever for like debts that aren't paid or something, I'm sure like, you know, some stuff like that is going to happen. You still want to be able to, you know, make money. And that way when shit does, like, hopefully shit goes to normal soon. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of people without, you know, a lot of people whose lives, you know, unfortunately, a lot of people, there's been a lot of casualties, but a lot of people's lives are going to be just disrupted. And what people need is just some fucking money to like help them figure out what's next, or just to make sure they're just not stressing about some of the things that don't matter. You know, imagine if you did lose a loved one, but you also now are like, fuck, like we can't even buy food because like my work got disrupted. You know, I'm sure there, you know, and like I said, I'm sure that the state is like probably going to work with people to make sure that people that whose lives are disrupted aren't like starving. You don't want to depend on that. That's like the last worst case scenario. Ideally, you still have some sort of income and you can go, you know, take care of yourself and your family, like on your own means.
There was two pieces of this, right? So the first one was, you know, it's like a lot of times you like donate to charity and you're like, I don't really know who this is going to.
Oh,
like,
yeah, dude.
To an organization.
Great point.
Like, this is going directly
to a person,
this artist, right?
Yeah.
And it's almost like you feel like part of the community. Like, they're a designer, we're a designer. Like, it's like helping a friend, right? And like, so I like that aspect of it. But then it got me thinking. I was like, this is so simple. Like, I wonder what if other like tech is doing this. Like, imagine like Twitter pumping up all the tweets that come out of the Ukraine to make sure everybody's getting that information. Or if there was a blog that was written, like Google's pumping up the search, like promoting it somehow. Like, it's like a simple knob to turn for a lot of the tech companies to just be like, let me shine a light on it real quick.
Right.
You know,
I have seen a lot of, in our space, like a lot of like artists, you know, a lot of Ukrainian artists being profiled, and a lot of different types of scenarios. So that is great. And actually, so what's really interesting, I don't know if it was a week or two ago, I meant for us to do this earlier, but you know, one of the apps that, you know, you and I, of course, we've talked about, like, hey, once we get to a certain point and we get some actual sponsors, like, is there anybody we would want to target? And we've had a couple of small little conversations, which oddly enough, you know, we're just kind of getting this thing started, and so that's really nice. But one of them that I mentioned earlier, I was like, oh, Set app. Like, it's an app that I use that, or I think you may use it too. I'm not sure, but it's always been one of my favorites. It's kind of one of those bundle subscription things. It's not really a bundle, but it's like a subscription, and it's basically like a subscription to the Apple App Store. Anyway,
it's like access to custom.
Yeah, it's access to a lot of cool apps, and I use a lot of them. And so I was like, that's who I want to, you know, talk to first about, like, hey, do you want to like sponsor the show or like do an ad on the show or something? And it was our friend Scott that was like, hey, did you guys know that they're headquartered out of Ukraine? And like, I had no idea. And so I figured instead of us like trying to do a deal with them, we're just do a free ad, a free ad. I mean, I know, we're not the biggest, we don't have the largest audience ever, but we've got a pretty loyal audience. And I think, people that, largely design focused. So everyone, you should check out Setapp. It's setapp.com. I use it quite a bit. There's quite a few apps in there that I use, and actually they continue to get more apps. So I like to try to keep my Mac tidy with what is it, Mac Cleaner, or now I'm like, which ones do I use? And I can't think of the right names, but it's Clean My Mac. There's some others that are pretty cool. Like they've got a better screenshot app. They actually have
there's tons of them.
There's just tons. And I was just going to mention some that I use. There's a mail app that I used to pay for outside of the app, which is now included, called Newton. It's kind of this like minimal UI, in my opinion, really beautiful mail app. So the thing is, you're not going to use all these apps, but there's a lot on here that are really cool. And by the time you use one or two, honestly, by the time you use one of them, you're basically like paying for the app. I think it's probably $100 a year. We don't have any special codes or anything, but we don't want that. That's not why we're doing it right now. We're just wanting to support Ukrainian companies. So, but anyway, go check it out. I mean, they've even got, little utilitarian apps. There's this one called Renamer, which is basically when you have a whole shitload of like files in a folder, you can use this Renamer app to go and like put meaningful names to those in like any kind of sequential order or whatever you want to do, which those are the kind of things you do like every once in a while. But when you use it, you're like, fuck yeah, that was super, super useful. But anyway,
I'm going through it. There's a bunch of, I feel like I signed up for the trial of this like a long time ago, and then I didn't end up using anything. And so I was like, oh, let me like cancel this because I'm not using it. But I remember playing with some to-do lists, like, app or something on it. The thing that I like about their stuff, because I told you I'm like a weird app, like Mac Store, like App Store, like weirdo
snob.
That's always looking at it. Like, everything that's on here is curated. Like, it's beautiful. They don't have like really shitty apps that are less like just like, oh, somebody just threw this shit together and don't really care about the experience. Like they've selected good looking things that actually do like add value in some kind of way.
Yeah, that's kind of like
that's my biggest thing.
When I say app bundles, that's what it reminds me of. Back in the day when there'd be like a deal, and it'd be like, you'd get it's like an app bundle fire sale or whatever. They used to do those all the time. I don't remember. There was a specific name of one that did it a lot, but basically you'd just kind of go for it because they looked interesting enough. And it was like some of them were useful, but most of them were not useful at all. And then the design on them wasn't great. So to your point, yeah, most of these are really well designed apps. And there's a lot of different ones. Like there's different mail apps. There's different,
No, there's all kinds of stuff in here. Again, please try it out. But it's funny, like the way my brain works is like we're looking at this, and I'm like, oh, now I got an idea. Maybe we should be their competition. like it just made me think like, okay, like it looks like they have like, even like you brought up Newton, right? Newton was like already a product, right? And so I was thinking about like the mail app that I use that I love that like got sunset. It was called Tempo.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about like how many just sunsetted apps there are that they're still on like GitHub, like they're open source or something. They're just like a version of something that's out there, but nobody wants to like deal with the support, right? So it's like, what if you started a company like this where you didn't actually, you literally created a bundle, but like you just went and found useful like GitHub open source type things, put a nice design skin on it, and you basically became the support for the thing that was already there. Like I think there's something to that, because there's so much. Like I dig through like GitHub and like the open source Mac app source stuff like all the time.
Oh, really?
Thousands.
I never do that.
Thousands of stuff where it's just like anything you can think of, someone has made a version of it.
Yeah.
And then they were just like, yeah, I'm done with that. Fuck that. And then it's just up there, just sitting there.
Totally. Well, even Newton is shut down twice. Like the first time it shut down, and I was like, fuck. And then I tried a bunch of different ones.
First, buy from Setapp to support them, and then like later on down the road after the war, we'll start a competitor or we'll partner with them, and it'll be fun.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we'll wait till they're back on their feet for sure.
Yeah, I can't help but the way my brain works. It's just
yeah, it's all good. You want to kick them while they're down? It's fine.
Make a thing. No.
I'm just kidding. Well, hey, dude.
It inspired me.
Yeah. So Okay, we were talking about traveling a couple of weeks
Hold
ago.
on. I'm sorry. Have I told you about the chair that I bought?
No, let's hear it, man.
So I bought this chair maybe a month ago because it's like I have like in the other office like I have like the Herman Miller chair. It's all cool looking. It's got like the spine and all that. Like it's all the ones y'all had at the office, and it just was never comfortable to me. Like
really.
Ever. Right. And so I went on this journey. I went to Office Max. I went to like Office Depot. I went to like all like the fancy design stores and everything. Like I always want to sit in them. Right.
I like how you said Office Depot and Office Max and then all the fancy design stores.
No, well, I went to design stores, but I normally always hate the design stores, and I always find the most comfortable thing in the most ghetto place.
Yeah.
So it's like I always find something at like Office Depot or something, right?
Right.
And so I think that's where I was. It was either Office Max or Office Depot. And I'm in there, and I'm like, it's a boring looking chair, but that ass pad, it was like this big. Like it was huge. And it literally had this giant sign. It was like up to 500 pound support. And I was like, I'm not 500 pounds, but I was like, but I like a little ass support. I was like, that's the part that always kind of hurts. Like after a while where you're just working for so long. And so I was like, they didn't have it. Of course they didn't. Like the display was there, but they didn't have it. So I went home and I ordered it. And like, it's got the shittiest handles. Like the armrest of it are so like loosey. But like my ass has not hurt since I got it compared to like the fucking $1,000 Herman Miller. This was like $200. It was like nothing, right?
It's like my ass feels so good.
But I'm just like, but it's worth it. I was never thought like, oh, I need to look at how much weight the foam will be able to like support, But I don't know. Anyway, totally random story.
Well, dude, I'm happy about that.
I don't even know how my brain connected whatever you said to whatever we were talking about with SetApp to my ass pad. I'm not even sure how it put together.
Your brain was just like, God, why do I feel so good?
Yeah, my ass just feels so good. I need to tell people about how good my ass feels right now.
All right. So what I was about to say, which had nothing to do with it, and we don't have to talk about it long because it's a huge, it's not good news. But did you see in the news that Saudi Arabia executed 81 people in one day?
This is why I don't watch the news.
Yeah. Well,
dude, no, that's
insanity. What we were talking about.
It's horrible. It's disgusting.
Well, that's one of the things when we were talking about like international travel. I think some of these people were like reporters and things like that, and probably some of them just had like dissent against the government, which obviously rightly so if you're going to just execute 81 people in one day. And I don't really dig in because to your point, like, well, maybe I should have dug in since I'm bringing it up, but like the point to me was just the fact that like, man, I know people, it's kind of this, I feel like there's this popular thing, which is like to shit on the United States right now. And by no means do I think like, everything's perfect or we're perfect, but, fuck, dude, like nothing like that shit's going to go down in the United States. Well, no, that's not going to happen. Like that's 81 people, like just random people in one, not random. That would be a different story, I guess. But like, yeah, I mean, that's just, we were just talking about like going somewhere where you feel really comfortable and all that. And like, and I kind of mentioned that region and like, there's some amazing things to see and there's amazing people, fucking amazing food. Oh my God. But like, there's a level of comfort where I guess like, I haven't actually been to Saudi Arabia, which is drastically different from my understanding than Abu Dhabi and Dubai, where they really like count on and appreciate tourism. Obviously, if like, people think they're going to like potentially, be executed, it's going to fuck up tourism. But still, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just crazy shit.
No, it's fucked up. Like, I will be the first person to admit, like, I am a pansy and scared to travel a lot of places in the world. Just purely, too, because it's not just that I'm American, but it's like I'm big and I stand out. And it's like I instantly am not local.
I'm not one of you.
Like, what I mean? So it's like I don't know. I've always had that kind of fear. I hate, like, my anxiety kicks in. I start like looking around, like who's around me, like who's staring at me, like
Which makes it worse.
And then I'm like, and
Because
then I'm
everybody's
just
like, that guy's looking around like a weirdo.
I know. But then it's like I just ruined my vacation if that's what I was there for. Like I'm too stressed out to have a good time and to relax, So I don't know.
Anyway,
just throw me on an island with a beach, and I'm good. I can be brown when I tan enough, and like I just won't talk. They won't hear my Texas accent or anything like that, so I'll be good. Just be like,
I don't know of any island region areas that fucking execute people. Period. They're just
That's what I'm saying.
Chill. Well,
Exactly.
my point though was like, you can talk all you want. You can be whoever you want.
I mean, there's like, I don't know. I get to ask that all the time because I lived in Hawaii, like about like, but they don't like white people and they don't like this. I was like, no, they just don't like dicks.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And, like,
no,
totally.
it 100% is that, but it's like somebody just comes in and acts like I'm on vacation. I'm an idiot. I just fucking tear up things for no reason. I don't give a shit.
Tear up things and give me what I want because I'm paying money.
Well, but there's this true love for like the land and like the things
as
that
there
are
should
there,
be,
and they're, you know what I mean? Like they care so much about the things that everyone should care about. And when you come in and you don't care, and it's obvious that you don't care, like,
totally,
you're gonna get treated differently.
100%.
Like,
you should be.
That's what I mean. Like, no, yeah, it's like it's not even like, oh, you're American or you're from Texas or you're from whatever. It's just you're a dick or you're not.
Yeah. No, it's more black and white than that.
But it also could be on their side too. There could just be people that are dicks. Like there are very like religious is the wrong word, but it's almost like a religion where it's just like they felt like things were taken from them and they have this like regret and hatred to anything that's
totally.
not 100% local. And it's like I get it, But even then, it's like that type of person, when you're nice to them and like you treat them with respect and you do whatever, like they shift a little bit. But if you come to the person like that and you're a dick, they're just see, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, validating all of those wrong opinions.
So I don't know. It's like that everywhere. But I do feel like you go to an island, you go to a beach culture place, and it's just a different atmosphere. It's just chill. I'm not looking around. I don't give a fuck. Like it's just like we're getting there slow, It's like it's just happy.
Yeah. Which is like largely how a lot of those cultures live. With you don't want to expect people to always be prompt.
That's why I know you hate it, but that's why I want to move back so badly.
I don't hate it. I just
I just need you to come too.
That's
like,
the
and
point.
I get it. I don't want to be
That's the
far
point.
away from everybody.
I just hated it based on our last experience where you just bounced. It was like very quick too.
Well, I mean that's how I roll. Or used to.
It's like, hey, dude, by the way, tomorrow we've got a flight. I was like, oh, sweet. Where are you going? To Hawaii forever. It's like, all right, man.
Yeah.
Well,
that's how I do things, Which is happening right now. Like we're selling our house in April, and everyone keeps asking where the hell we're going, and we're like, we'll find a place, or we won't, or I don't know. We'll figure it out, and we'll do it that day. We'll just do it that day.
Fam. Yeah,
yeah.
Just fuck it. We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
I had this this topic on here, which you added a couple to, which is Disney's caricaturization of cultures. Oh, thanks. I appreciate you.
I mean, you looked really relaxed, but I couldn't hear you very well. But I heard you.
Well, so I thought it was interesting, and you actually wrote something on here that may validate what I was thinking. So over the I'm sure your kids are probably the same, where they see the previews for an upcoming movie and they like want
my kids have been waiting for this movie for
Essex too.
Turning Red.
Yeah, like, Turning Red. He kept talking about it. And he was like, my son didn't realize necessarily that it wasn't out yet because you could go to it and watch the preview. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, let's just watch the preview. And he's like, oh, okay. We watched that. And he was like, let's watch it. And I was like, it's not out yet. But it comes out. And once he knew it was Friday, he was like, all right. So we were like staycationing. we were in a hotel because we had access to one, and my wife was a part of this event like up north, and so we went ahead and stayed there because my son loves hotels. So he's like, Dad, it's Friday. Are we gonna watch that? And I was like, yeah, sure. So anyway, we waited until his mom, my wife, got home or to watch it, and my wife Nicole, she's like, she was like, I don't know how I felt about that movie. And I thought it was interesting, in my opinion, and why I was curious what your thoughts on it were, because of your, Asian wife, is basically you just got to watch the movie. This might be a slight spoiler alert, but basically the mom, she's very strict, and I feel like
Dragon
this is
Mom.
Dragon Mom. Yeah, is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is that's a name for it, typical name for it, that kind of, yeah, because it is kind of a thing, right?
100% it's a thing.
Yeah,
but it's not
I mean, I knew it
it's
was.
like Asian, like Asia, like Indian parents are that way, Chinese parents are that way, Japanese parents, you know what I mean? Like it's across the board.
No,
you know what
totally,
I mean?
totally. But I don't think that's like a good, that's not a good thing necessarily. I mean, like there's good things that come out of it, but there's a lot of like, at least I've known people that don't have great relationships with their family because of that kind of like interaction. Their whole life growing up, they always felt like shit and they couldn't be themselves and things like that. Right.
So, but that to me is what's interesting about, and I don't know, maybe it's a perspective thing. I didn't even catch that. I mean, I caught that part, but it's like I wasn't focused on that part at all. But to me, that was like a good thing. Like, she was a dragon mom. Her mom was a dragon mom. Grandma was. And they didn't, like, the mom and the grandma never got together and, like, could understand each other. But then, like, the daughter and the mom
brought them all together,
figured out how to pull it all together and make change and figure out. And then the end of the movie, she's not dragon mom anymore. She understands she's got to, like, let her be.
Yeah.
Right. So she broke the mold.
They broke the mold of the dragon mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how I took it. But honestly, that wasn't the movie. That wasn't the movie to me at all.
Well,
I thought to me at all.
Okay.
So,
I'd be interested to hear
your
thoughts on it. Because I just didn't think that was necessarily a good characteristic to highlight. Because that's kind of what they're, well, now I'm really interested in your thoughts. Because, I mean, as far as like
maybe it is just a cultural thing, just because it's like I find that so normal, and like my Asian wife and Asian grandmother, like mother-in-law, like it's almost like they take pride in that.
In being the dragon mom.
They don't feel offensive. They're proud of that. That's why they have kids that are respectful and take care of things and do everything, and they feel like they put that pressure, and they were the ones that took the time to care enough to create that person in that way. And obviously, I think there's going too far, but I think and obviously I don't want to speak for her. I wish she was here, but like I feel like there's kind of a pride to that. Like I've never heard somebody feel bad, like they portrayed me as like a mean mom. Like no, yeah, and like they'd be like, yeah, see, they got me cracking that whip. You know what I mean? It's like the tone is different, like in our house and like with her family and my aunts and uncles and stuff that I have over there. Like it's just different. I don't know.
That's interesting. And I'm taking this just from a couple of instances or a couple of personal relationships that I've had with people that have bad relationships with their families because of the sort of dragon quality. And it wasn't just the mom, or one of them was a dad that was very much like that. And, they kind of talked about having to go to like counseling and all this for that specific thing. And so to me, I don't have a lot of touch points on that, like the relationships and that whole dragon mom aspect, but that's what I had in my head when I saw that. It stood out to me as a thing that I was like, oh man, they're kind of highlighting this like kind of bad thing. And so maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe it's just based off of like these minor instances.
I feel like that's like every, like not animated for Disney, obviously, but like I feel like that's just every movie though, right? Like even like you said, your personal friends, like they went to if they went to counseling, that means they were trying to break the mold. Like it was like,
yeah, but it wasn't
it's like
good.
I know, but I'm saying like, okay, maybe that's a bad example, but it's like once you recognize it's like it's gone too far, and then something breaks, and you're like, okay, now we can negotiate a little bit, and we'll come to like, all right, I'm still gonna be strict. You still have lots of things you need to take care of, but I understand you need to be your own person and go do that, right?
Yeah. Well, so in these instances, there's no like mending of a relationship with their parents. What is good, the way that you're talking about it?
I'm back to the movie right now.
Well, what I could see the way you're talking about it is hopefully these people won't be like that with their own kids or whatever, or they won't be the version that made them not feel good about.
That's what I mean by breaking the mold, like, which I've read a bunch of books and stuff like that, where it's like I'm reading this one right now, like Advancing Through Chaos or something.
Dude, you keep reading books. What is going on?
I know. I'm like,
wow,
I'm more than halfway through. No, it's the same book. It's the same book that I was talking about last time. It's just I'm way further down. But that was actually one of the things that they bring up, where it's like generational, where it's like it's become so normal that it just repeats, and you don't mean like, all those commercials, like, you don't want to be your parents, you become your parents on accident, it just happens, where it's like that is a true psychological thing, where it's like that is norm, you become norm, you want your kids to be good like you, and so you do what your parents did and all that kind of stuff. And then there is a moment when some people where it's like, I don't want that. I want them to be like this. And a lot of times people go the extreme, and they'll be like, makes sense. I don't punish them at all. They just fucking run wild and do whatever. And like, I think that there's a nice middle ground somewhere.
Yeah, you at least get on your knees so you're at their height before you like punch
them in the face. Yeah, it's like, you're gonna be eye
exactly
level.
Yeah, we gotta be fair.
But anyway, back to
sorry, I want to know your thoughts on it.
So okay, so we took Era for a physical. My daughter just turned 10, right? She went for a physical 6 months ago, something like that. All right. And the doctor was like, hey, just so you know, girls are having their period much younger these days, so you might want to get ready for it. I'm like, what? My daughter's in 4th grade. Are you fucking joking right now?
Oh, man.
And so it's like we've been kind of like preparing and like, and actually this was a whole thing, and I told my wife this, like, she kind of like had a conversation with her without me. And it like, I told her, I was like, I'm kind of upset that you did that. Like, I wanted to be a part of that. I don't want this to be I've got to run to mom thing. Like, I want it to be, she can run to either one of her parents who are understanding, and we get it, and we're there for her,
Yeah.
And so anyway, the reason that is relevant is because that's what I took away as the metaphor for this whole movie, is her turning into a dragon. Her turning into a dragon was her like getting her period. And so this felt totally like what I'm going through right now. It felt so relevant, because it's like at the beginning, she's just so good. And then like you start catching these little sassiness moments. And then she like almost like doesn't even realize it, but she like talks back when she would never do that before. And then it's like, and then like, so it was like the movie was almost like a interesting view for me. So it was like, am I being too dragon dad, and I need to step back and see like where she's trying to go with her life and what she wants to do, so I can be there for her for that, because it's like I like to think that I'm supporting, like whatever she wants to do, but like maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I need to pay more attention over here. Maybe I like need to like let her be more free to do other things, kind of thing. So it was very personal, that movie. That's
interesting. Well, they did even reference. They referenced period. Her having her period or whatever. Like her mom thought that was it when she was like,
totally.
That's really interesting. Now I'm even more fascinated by the way that people perceive all these different, specifically probably like Disney movies or whatever, because there's always like this underlying sort of message or whatever. Because I didn't get that at all. I got from that whole part was like, she was, this is sort of connected to the Dragon Mom thing, where she couldn't be herself. She couldn't live her life. There was even the part where she kind of like dissed her friends because she was afraid to be herself in front of her mom or whatever. And so the part that I took like from that was like, she realized the value in herself, like this whole like, turning red part. It was like this sort of person in this sort of, I'm just going to say like creature inside of her that was like wanted to express who she was and all this. And so then that was it. And like what was different for her is like how her grandmother and mother kind of like bottled it back up, bottled up their emotions or whatever. She was like,
See,
I want to be
love
me.
that. I loved that little metaphor that they did where it's like, because I'm that person, like I'll bottle up everything and like I get quiet and stuff, and like they literally have the metaphor of like they literally bottled it into a charm.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like inside there, that's where all your feelings and emotions go,
Yeah.
I don't know. So this is what was interesting. So I left that movie like after we got done and was like, like that hit me. Like it was a good movie. It was kind of funny. It's like, it's like my kids are half Chinese, so it's like we deal with a lot of Chinese culture and eat the same foods and stuff that they were making on there and everything.
Yeah.
So it felt really relevant. And then my daughter's at that age where it's like it felt extra relevant. But then like the next, I don't know if it was that night or if it was like the next day, like the first, I expect, like I read a bunch of like headlines of news and tech and whatever, right? And I don't actually read the thing. I just read the headline, like the picture.
Yeah.
And then on like the first one I saw that morning was just showed like the picture of the movie, and it was just like, what do you call it? It was Disney's taking it too far. No one can relate to their deep ethnic, cultured movies now, or some. It was like ugh, what the hell, because it's like they've kind of like gone to like, the Encanto thing. There was like what's the one where he plays guitar, where he goes into heaven,
Dia de los Muertos or whatever.
I forget what the name of it is. But anyway, it's like I feel like they've dove super deep into culture, so it makes me really sad that people wouldn't like embrace it.
Oh yeah,
because it's like a lot of these people are never going to travel. Coco, and all these people are like never going to travel to these other countries and actually embrace the culture. So it's like they're going to learn about this culture through like a Disney movie,
Right.
So I feel like it just makes me sad that someone would be just like, I can't relate to these movies because they're not like what I don't even get it.
Right, they're not
exactly like
Snow
me.
White.
Yeah, which is
That's pretty weird.
Like, so my daughter's favorite movie, like that's what I'm glad you said it like that, because it made me think of this bullet I wrote. So my daughter's favorite song right now is called "I'm Mad at Disney," and so I'm always trying to like get her to like add songs that she likes to like a playlist, so I can actually start like hearing what she's listening to. And like, when I listen to the words, it's like Disney told me some fucking Prince Charming was gonna come save the day, and there's no fucking Prince Charming. So fuck you, Disney.
Yeah.
You've just totally lied. And then
It's not quite how it says it, but yeah.
But
I'm just kidding.
But I feel like Disney, like back in the day, like classic Disney is very much like there is no like women power kind of thing. And like that fact that I have a daughter, it's like I don't want her like fucking waiting for some dude to fucking save the day. I want her to fucking whoop their ass and do whatever, Yeah. So I don't know. And I like even the last two, the Encanto and then the Turning Red, they're like powerful
women,
girls, young girls.
The only thing about Encanto that seemed, I'm with you. I love that they're like sharing different cultures. It does make me wonder. And I mean, what I think in my head at least is that they've got, it's Disney. They've got the money, the right people to say like this is the way, this is right, and kind of endorse what they're putting, the things that they're creating, right? I did think one thing that was kind of interesting about Encanto was when they're singing some of the songs, it sounds very much like an American that doesn't speak fluent Spanish, or I guess they speak fluent, but it just sounded very American. It didn't have like the
they didn't have an accent.
It didn't have an accent. Yeah, that's basically what I was trying to say. Which I was like, all right, I could probably use an accent to like make it feel a little bit more authentic.
The main ones don't, like whatever, one of the uncles and stuff, he definitely does. I've had to watch these so many times now, so it's like I feel
well, dude,
but I'm with you. I follow what you're saying though.
Yeah.
But
well, to your comment about the fairy tale, kind of the fairy tale life or whatever, you were talking about Era's favorite song is "I'm Mad at Disney," and it's talking about, basically like the idea of like this prince is going to come sweep you off your feet and, and you can't take care of yourself, kind of is like this underlying message or whatever. What's interesting isn't that exactly what Crazy Rich Asians is? It's like a real life. I mean, it's not a cartoon, but it's basically the same thing. The super handsome, mega rich guy just comes and like sweeps you off your feet.
No,
it's not.
Well, when they meet, she doesn't know that though. That's what I think makes that different.
Oh, okay.
Right,
okay.
like what do you call it?
Yeah,
Like
I get where
Cinderella or whoever is like meets the prince and knows he's the prince and he fucking
Yeah.
owns the whole fucking kingdom. This is like a dude that you met that you just really like. You're
and he
like,
just
oh my God, you're awesome.
And
then
just
it's like, oh, I want you to meet my family. And then you're like, holy shit, we're at a fucking hotel. No,
so the big
no,
difference
that's my
is like
house.
whether you know it or not.
Yeah, like
which I can dig.
It's I mean, not that like Cinderella and Snow White
less
were gold
gold-diggery.
diggers. Yeah, but you know, it kind of, it's like, I don't know. It's. I get where you're going with it. I feel like it's slightly different though, but
I'm with you.
But I don't know. I could be wrong. So,
nice. Well,
anyway, speaking of shows though, Curtis, like
good transition.
one of my badass designers yesterday. It was like he got like real like amped, and he was like, why is there not like a designer TV show? You know, because we've been talking about like one of my favorite shows. Like everything I like they all get canceled. Every show that I ever loved.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit before.
And so there was one called Songland that I loved. Like we watched it as a family, right? Because my daughter started writing songs and stuff, and like it was literally like it's like an American Idol type thing where someone like pitches a song to these producers and songwriters and to an artist that's looking for a song to put on their album.
Interesting,
right? And like they'll come in and they'll sing the song, right? And they're listening to it, and like and then all of a sudden you just see this like fucking creative craziness happen live, like on this TV show, where this like one of the producers would be like, I really like what you're doing here, but on verse 2, I think it needs like a flamenco guitar that's doing this, and then sing it a cappella. Ready, Brand? Go. And then all of a sudden the band will play it in flamenco, and then the guy, like whoever was like singing the song originally, will like try it that way, and they're like, oh my God, that sounds so much better, right? Because they're trying to like make it for this artist that's there that wants it for their album, and it was just so cool. And it's like they would just break things down, and it's like that's what we do as designers. Like it's like there's a thing. Right? Like, so imagine like, I don't know. I picture this Street Fighter 2 vibe like all the time. Right. And like, I picture like this designer, rave, right? This rave, like in like a loft, and there's like a big screen. It's split down the middle, and it's like Steve versus Ray. And it's like, and like there's music playing, and it's like almost like a cooking show where it's like today's theme. And it's like
today's
theme. Rideshare app, and it's like something like that where it's like, okay, fuck, we've got to like make a rideshare app, and we have like 30 minutes, and there's like a big countdown timer, and like there's just people like watching us like make it like right there, like on the fly, you know.
So okay,
I don't know.
Yeah, you're getting me
something there.
You're actually getting me a little more hyped, because when you first said it, I was like, this sounds so super fucking boring to watch some people design apps, but it is interesting. So what you don't necessarily do it in real time, right? So like what you were talking about, they're kind of like they're like saying change this a little bit. I'm sure there's like cuts in there, but what you're talking about for this app, it's kind of like I could even see it like maybe being like small little teams, because you've got a visual designer, you've got like the sort of UX person, maybe it's just 2 people, I don't know, but it's like, all right, because then when you start, it's like, then you're going forward. And I like totally what you're saying. Like, I think it's funny. It's like if you had this sort of Mortal Kombat sort of theme overlay where it's like,
and
today's topic.
Well, I picture like, this is like, I'm going crazy now, but I picture like everybody having an app, right? That's there. And like they vote, they're like live voting for like Steve versus Ray. And like, if they vote for Steve, like the power, like I lose some and you gain some. Right. Or like, and it's like the first one to like beat the other one, like wins. So you don't even have to finish the project. It's like you got 30 minutes and people are just voting on how badass the thing that you put together is and how you put it all together and all that. But back to the Songland thing, they actually did do it live. Like they did it.
Well, no, I know.
Right
but that's
then.
like music. That's what I'm saying.
No, I know.
Like,
but like then what they did, I'm saying like if it was a TV show and not like my cool rave party, Like what they do on there is like they did it live, they get some ideas, and then they pick you and some other people to work with the producer, and then they go and they work with the producer, and they come back and they show the reveal, right? Yeah. That's where they cut and they do edit stuff. But I don't know. There's something like
the only thing that I think
the energy of like I don't know why, but it's like I love.
Here's the thing: we just still need great background music.
No,
because
totally,
sharing
100%.
Music is like totally cool. They're like, yeah, people. Totally. If it was just showing like,
this is
look at this app.
This is like an emotional thing, and maybe it's not apps. Like I'm just like throw that out as an example. Like maybe it's just like,
but if design
like it could be like whatever.
Sense.
But I don't know. There's just something about like the using all the senses, right? So it's like I'm kind of got a little tipsy. Of
course,
there's music bumping.
Wait.
Like,
I got you. You're right. It's using all the senses, and these people have to create like their own music track for how they're going to present their shit too. So it's like they're creating the whole experience. It's kind of like almost like it's like a different version of like pitching an idea, right? And so it's like, all right, we want to get this out of them. So we like want to write the right dialogue. We want to have the best background music. This is how we're going to show it. And it's all revolves around the design that they created, but they're still having to like think through like the experience of the pitch and all that.
Yours feels
you're not digging that part.
Well, yours just I love the idea of it being live, like it actually happening live.
Well, sure.
Like, but
like, how's it going to happen live and have music if they don't?
Because there's a DJ playing. It's not a DJ that's for you,
the
designer, and for me, the designer. There's it's just a party. Like I see this almost like as like UX Weekly battles, right? And like we rented a space, and it's just an event. It's just fun. And like if you're a designer, like you submit yourself, and it's like a Harry Potter. You put your name in the goblet, and we're just gonna pull two people out. You. 2 people are partying tonight. Who's like who come up to the stage?
I've been to one of these before.
I've been to one of them too. I think I was with you.
Okay.
I think it was South by, and I think it was a frog party where they were doing something like this. Is what I was trying to remember what it was
roughly.
And I'm thinking that's what it was. And like I remember that so much. Like I remember that experience. And they were just like making stuff. It wasn't like a competition type thing. But I just remember always thinking like this is like a movie.
This
like
is
we're like in like that Matrix club right now, like where he meets Trinity, and like there's bumping music and lights flashing, and like creation is happening in front of me, like
so
I get
all
I get
this
hyped
seems
on this.
possible. What would incentivize if we were to, because I think we have access to some spaces. We have the greatest DJ on earth is a good friend of ours, DJ Love. All the we can get food and stuff. What would incentivize?
I think we need a prize. I don't know. Like I was thinking about that too.
I know. Like, that's what I'm thinking. What is the prize?
I don't know. Maybe you like costs money to come. It costs like, I don't know, making up a number. Say it costs $5 to get in, entry fee. Like not not for the competition, but for entrance into the party, right? And let's say we made $1,000, and like you get all of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm making something up right now, but I'm just like
we could just get sponsors, and then people could
or
come
we get
for
a sponsorship. Free. But yeah. But you know what I mean? Like it's I think
you can come for free as long as you give us your
then we do
address.
like a WWF belt, with like UX Weekly on the front.
I like where this is headed.
And they get to like wear it, and then next week or next month there's like the challenger versus the champion. That's like
interesting.
What was that? Juice. You remember the movie Juice, where it's like the DJ battle? Like that's what this is. Juice? Yeah. So it's like I don't know. There's a. I don't know. This just sounds so fucking fun to me. Like in my head, like this would just be like a fun party for us to throw, right? That's around UX and design, and it's like, it's fun. You don't have to participate, but you can watch. It's still fun if you're watching. You don't even have to participate in that if you don't want to, because the music is good, And it's just like it's just a vibe. Like I don't know. Like Curtis was onto something with the TV show, but I think it's cooler as like a full-on like fucking designer rave. So
we need somebody to help us like with the event planning.
Yeah, we need.
I mean, it doesn't seem that hard, but
with lights, dark,
I think
and some screens. I think we could pull this off pretty easily, honestly.
Yeah.
The app, if we did the whole live voting thing, that's where it gets a little technical.
Oh yeah. Well, dude, I think those are out of the box. They have those out of the box. from the App Store.
Street Fighter 2 projection app.
Well, they don't have that. Oh, I see. Yeah, your version of it. Yeah, a little custom.
I got to take it to another level.
Yeah.
Can't do no out of the box shit. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm into it.
I want to do it. Let's do it. Comment
Right,
if you
let's put it
want
on
to
the
do
list.
that. Y'all are designers. If you are watching this most of the time, I would imagine.
Dude, here's the
So
problem with
if
us
y'all are into
requesting
that-
comments is that people are just DMing us directly.
I know. Okay, DM us directly if you want to be a part of this. All right, like we won't even ask for comments anymore. Just like hit us up.
One
Like,
guy,
you know.
he did comment about the machine gun though. I don't know if you saw that.
I did. I
And
did.
Well, my brother, he knew what that was too. He was like, "That's pretty sweet." And there was a name for it, which I don't remember. But then the guy that commented, he was like, "Man, I wish a something 1919 would show up at my door."
I know.
I was like, "That's what I'm telling Ray."
I know.
But anyway.
Well, maybe we found our niche. We just need to talk about guns all the time.
Oh, I don't know if I told you this. Maybe I mentioned it already, but my brother, he commented, he was like, "Hey, that was a pretty good episode." He was like, even, not just because you mentioned this old, no, he didn't say that. Well, I called him a country boy. He's like, "Not just because you mentioned this old country boy." But yeah, maybe maybe there are more country boys listening to us than we realized.
I mean, and maybe like my cousin Ant, he was basically saying, he's like, "Man, you have like same mannerisms as me," and I was like, "What are you talking?" I was like, he's like, "I was watching your show." I was like, "Oh, all right." And then it's
You
like,
were?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then it's-
Dude, speaking of, the solar people came back out, and there's like this one small little issue they need to fix. They're being totally cool. And I mentioned, because we're chit chatting or whatever, and they're really cool. Like even if they're like selling me, they're like doing a really good job. But they're taking care of their, shit. So I feel good about them. And I mentioned, I was like, "Hey, I even talked about you guys on the podcast." And one guy was a new guy that I hadn't met, and he was a little younger, and he was like, "Oh, what's the name of your podcast?" And he goes and looks it up, and in the title, I put solar panels and then other stuff, and he was like, "Oh, like the latest one, is that the one talking about us?" I was like, "Yeah, it fucking says solar panels." I was like, I bet you figured I was full of shit when I said that, but there you go.
That's awesome, man.
Anyway,
Can't wait to see your fancy solar panels and be jealous.
yeah, good. And maybe I'll give him props, public props. I don't know.
I had a positive user experience at your Home Depot that you used to be a part of. You're a Home Depot, right? Not Lowe's.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
okay, so I think Curtis used to work at Home Depot too.
He looks like he would work at Home Depot.
Yeah, he's got that brawny vibe.
Yeah.
What do you call it? So I mean, it's gonna sound so fucking bougie. I don't want to say it on here. So we have a tennis
it's
court.
too late.
Okay, and
the tennis court.
and so we're repainting it right now. We're like getting it all resurfaced and everything. And like we had done like 90% of it, and what do you call it? We ran out of paint.
Like how you had to think of the name of that.
Well, no, because my son just came in here and they go, "Oh, you're recording? Okay, well,
Yeah.
I've asked them to
right.
not be in here at all when I'm recording or when the door's shut, but for some reason they just keep coming in here because it's like, oh, well, I know the door's shut, but I didn't know if you meant
gotta lay
like
down
if
the
the
law,
door's
bro.
shut. I know.
So anyway, you ran out of paint.
So, well,
Yeah, you
before
are
that-
not a Dragon Dad, obviously.
Yeah,
You're just like,
so-
whatever.
So before that, we had bought a whole brand new thing of paint to finish it, right?
Yeah.
But then it like got cold and like it was been raining and like it froze and like all the craziness happened, right? So I go, it's like in the garage and everything. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna get this mixer, I'm like on my drill and I'll mix it all up and I like stick my stick in there. It's just like a solid rock. Like
What?
it was just like, it was just like water, blue water and like a rock inside. That.
Interesting.
I was like, fuck. Okay. Well, I guess I got to go get some more. Well, we literally like go through the house everywhere, like, cause we always save the swatches. So it's like, we know we can get it. Cause for some reason they didn't put the sticker on the top to tell us like what the
Right.
color it was. And so we're like looking everywhere and we find the green, not the blue. And I'm like, fuck, I know it's got to be around here somewhere. And she's like, well, it's fine. We're going to have to put another layer everywhere. We'll just, if we have to pick, we can probably figure it out. So I could take a picture of it. And like I go to Home Depot and like we're looking at colors. None of the colors look anything like the fucking photo that I took. And so we just like, fuck it. We'll do a new color. So we like pick a new color. And then randomly Dwayne is like, wait, don't they have it on the computer? And I was like, I don't think so. We don't normally tell them, hey, I'm Ray Hernandez. I'd like 5 gallons worth of blue. And she's like, well, I mean, it doesn't hurt. And I was like, you're right. And so I was like, hey, can you just check and see if it's on our account? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, here it is right here. It's called Striking. You got 5 gallons of it like a couple months ago. Would you want that one instead of this one? I was like, holy shit. Like, it was like so simple, so stupid. Yeah. But it was like the most invigorating feeling.
It was a win.
That they fucking knew the color. I didn't have to basically scrap everything I've done so far, and I could just get some more paint. I could mix it real quick, and I can go and finish the project. Like, nice, it was just like, oh my God, you did something right. Like, normally I hate
really
going to Home Depot, Because it's like they're always using like old ass systems, and it's like fucking DOS and craziness that they're trying to type in codes and shit. And I'm like, there's just no way that they're gonna be able to help us. And like they did. And I was like, I don't know. It was so dumb, but I was so happy. Like I left there like floating, and that sounds so stupid, but like,
no man, I get it.
I don't know. It was
I've had a similar situation with the paint. What's also interesting is that I did a little experiment with them recently because I took a picture. So what I'll do, I've gotten pretty used to it. There's definitely times where I would be like, oh, I wish I had saved that. But, I've had to paint properties many, many times. So I'll take a picture of the top where it has like the numbers and the little barcode. And so I went and I showed the lady the number, and she was like, okay, cool. And I was like, maybe you could just scan this. And she was like, I don't know if that would work. And I was like, you should try it. And she was like, yeah, all right. And she scanned it and it worked, and it all popped up. She was like, oh my God, this is incredible. So she was hyped too that she had learned something.
See, man, but something about paint colors gets people popping. I don't know what it is.
Well, that's the thing. But the beginning of that experience is what makes the end so good, is because like you get the paint and it's just got this little thing on the top that just has a couple of numbers, and it usually gets paint on it. And then you're like, great. Like now I have to save this like swatch or whatever for them to go back and do like a color scan of, which doesn't mean it's going to be totally accurate. It's just going to be like as close as you can get for that, swatch or whatever. And usually it'll blend or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that you can get the actual paint color.
No, I think you're right though.
Feels better.
I think it's like we went there with the most negative attitude that there was no way fucking possible that this was ever going to work the way that we had hoped it would work. And then the fact that like you switch that, right?
Yeah.
And it all works out. You're just like, oh my God, that actually happened?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just wanted to tell you that just because it just got me thinking. It's just like with the shit that we do, right? Like we don't just make pixels look pretty. It's like we create these like little tiny experiences that create an emotion in people. And it could be so simple, but people tend to overthink how simple that little thing could be, So, namaste.
Yeah. No. Well, you're totally right. And I think the big theme of our show is like really the user experience, not just as you being a visual designer creating stuff on a screen, but like what all goes around that. Well, I did have quite a bad experience at Chipotle last Friday. So when I took my son to this hotel, he was like, Dad, we haven't had Chipotle in a while. And we didn't have, dinner figured out. We weren't doing like a nice dinner or anything like that. We were just chilling in a hotel. And so I go to, I drive up to that part of town first. I don't get it at my normal, venues that I would get it at. Well, Chipotle has this new chicken or whatever, chicken asada. And they're like promoting it. And I was like, oh yeah, I might want to try that. So I'm like, hey, can I get a little sample of the chicken? And the gal looks at me very stunned. And I'm like, oh, okay, she's new. Like, she's freaking out. I'm like, it's okay. Just give me like a little sample so I can, determine if that's what I want to order because I'm doing chicken on all of these. And so she walks over to this girl. I don't know if this was the manager or not, but she walks over, and the other girl, I see them talking, and she comes back over, and she was like, yeah, I can't give you a sample. And I'm like, well, I don't know what you mean. Like, literally just like, I don't need a free meal. Like,
yeah,
I just
I'm not
need
homeless.
a single nugget of the little chicken that you're going to fucking drop on the floor probably anyway. Like, to determine if I want to make 3 orders, it's going to cost me like $20-something or whatever. Like, that should be fine. Like, it's a no-brainer. Mm-hmm. And she was like, yeah, no, we're not doing samples. I was really like stunned because I was like, who has trained you? Because they trained you wrong. Like, well, give me a fucking little nugget of chicken.
It's like even beyond that, right? It's like you're promoting a new thing. No one's had it.
Yeah.
And you're just supposed to be like, cool, I'll try the surprise mystery box meat in my thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, totally.
Like, it's not a fucking, yeah, I get it. It's not frozen yogurt. I'm not wanting samples, you know, of every flavor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Which they're totally okay with.
Yeah. You could have a whole meal of free frozen yogurt samples.
Yeah. Know, and to your point, like, yeah, I'm not a homeless person. I could see if, like, yeah, I'm clearly about to buy stuff. Like, I get it. Yeah, no hate on homeless folks, but I get it if they're to come up and be like, hey, I just want a bunch of free samples for food, and I'm going to bounce.
Homeless people don't have hair like you, bro.
I've seen some interesting styles out there that might compete with me, but
just saying.
But anyway, well, on top of that, so because she's like new, she starts like, she gets the scoop like we talked about before, and she's like giving me, so my son and wife are getting the tacos, and so she's like putting like just this very tiny amount dispersed, but it's like so minimal. And then I see her like take chicken off and put it back in the thing, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna need more chicken on there. Like, it's funny because it was like exactly our conversation, and I was just like, I was like, I'm gonna need more on there. She's like, oh, do you want to get extra chicken? And I was like, no, I just want like a normal amount, like so that there's more than like 2 nuggets of chicken on the fucking, you know, flour tortilla. And I knew, you know, this is like a training thing, but it was just funny because I was thinking about our previous episode the whole time. I was like, this is like the worst experience I've ever had. Not to mention, we get back to the hotel and the chips. My son loves chips. I do too. They're like all greasy and shit. And I was just like, what in the fuck? Like, man.
Did they hook it up with guacamole at least?
No.
Man.
Nothing. It was the worst.
Just never go
to the point where I took pictures of everything, and if I wasn't so lazy, I would have just been like, hey, Chipotle. I mean, I was going to like write an email through their support center or whatever and just be like, y'all need to hook it up. This sucked.
Oh, shit. There is something to that. I feel like I always wonder if like a product person at Chipotle would actually appreciate like a Medium post about how the experience that you actually had as a customer.
I should write it up
and
say,
it's
hey,
like,
Chipotle, this is for you.
No, but even it's just like not even in a dick way where you're just like,
no. I mean, I'm with you.
I am in the industry and I want to help. And I just want to share this little nugget with you so that, you know, I can help you become better, because I would want that if you were working with my product.
Totally.
Maybe.
Totally.
Write it.
I'll write it. Well, hey, dude, why don't we go ahead and wrap? Looks like we got stuff going on.
Yeah.
But
craziness over here.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, dude. I don't know. We'll see if this was a good show.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully people have seen the movie Turning Red so they understand what we're even talking about.
If not, go check it out.
Yeah. Go watch it first. Yeah. Not that they're going to hear us at the end of this video telling them to watch it first, but, you know, they should watch it first. You know.
Yeah. Watch it first. Whatever. We're telling you now. But also, like and subscribe. Anyway, thanks, everybody. Love you guys. Until next time, I'm Stephen Ray.
I'm Ray Hernandez.
Deuces.
Later.